Even more proof Trump's tariffs are working. All right, so I was reading a CNBC article today, and I got to turn in my mail card because apparently I like the guys if I'm reading CNBC. Next thing you know, I'll be watching Jim Cramer or whatever the hell his name is. Anyway, such a dumb article. You know, it used to be journalistic integrity meant that at least you'd interview one conservative for every 4 liberals. You know, to be journalistic integrity, you had to have a 4-to-1 ratio. Now they even try anymore. And this is in CNBC. It's just embarrassing. Anyway, so we have this pretty well-known financial planner in my realm. Everyone knows who this guy is. He's pretty well-known. I'd never liked the guy because he's a pompous, righteous ASS. But well, how about you, Josh? You're a pompous, righteous ASS. Yeah, but I am righteous because I'm right. I mean, at least I'm correct. This guy's from San Francisco. He's just a know-it-all. I just cannot stand those kind of people. It drives me insane. And yes, I am a know-it-all because I do know it all. And this guy doesn't. Anyway, so this guy bought a $2,000 side table they had imported from Mexico. And it came in 2 boxes. And when the 2 boxes came, apparently they charged them $580 per box for tariffs. And that UPS charge them. That seemed okay. First of all, I question that, to be perfectly honest. But let's just say that's true. All right. And Wall Street or the CNBC, they didn't reach out to UPS, so I don't know it to be true. But UPS supposedly billed this guy for basically 50% increase in the price of bringing that side table into the United States from Mexico. And I questioned that, but let's just say it's true. I said, okay. And the guy's flipping out. I was like, oh my goodness. And he said, like a fool would say, tariffs always cause price increases. I paraphrase them, something like that. Tariffs always affect prices on all products. That's what it was. Tariffs affect prices on all products. I mean, it's just like, dude, it's just such a dumbass thing to say. That's just simply not true. It's not true. It's just as stupid to say that. And I just, why? Why do we got to just say stuff that drives me up the wall? Anyway, so we know that's not true. And in this case, the price was not affected by tariffs. I mean, the price in of itself is still $2,000. You paid an extra $1,000 in tariffs. That didn't affect the price. It affected the transaction cost. Like if you're managing money for a living, 1%, that's a transaction cost. The price of the stock you're buying is still XY, it's still 10. But because you're charging a management fee, that doesn't affect the price. It affects the management costs, all right? Anyway, going back to this guy. So I said, I wonder if there's a way he could have avoided those tariffs. What could it possibly be? What could possibly be the way he could avoid those tariffs? Let's think long and hard. Well, I guess there's no one in the United States that does woodworking anymore, so he can't buy woodworking products made in the United States because no one in the United States is doing woodworking. Just like there's no more United States people that do nursing, no more United States people that do farm labor, no more United States people who do roofing. None of those people exist. So in this case, he has to import it from Mexico because there's no one in the United States that does woodworking anymore that could send his woodworking project to him sans tariffs. None. I know. I mean, I have some clients that do a lot of woodworking and are crushing woodworking, but I guess no one else does that in the United States. And those guys just do, just side tables. They don't do side tables. They just do end tables instead of side tables. So you can't find any domestic woodworker at all. Anyway, so we know the tariffs are working because what it does here is going to enforce this guy to say, next time I buy a side table, because I know the price I had to pay, again, the transaction cost, not the price, but the transaction cost I had to pay more. So I'm going to now look at a domestically manufactured end or side table or bed or anything like that. Exactly how tariffs are supposed to work. Supposed to reward better behavior by buying from your fellow American citizens. You flipping clowns. That's what we want. Trust me, I get it. It does make some expenditures higher for things that are imported. But we are a country, and our country needs to support our countrymen. We're not a global. We're not a freaking universal. We are a country, and you support your countrymen, which means, hey, if you got to pay a higher cost of transaction to get a good imported from another country, then maybe you want to buy that product domestically made. Shocking how that will work. And next thing you know, this guy is inherently going to look for domestically made side tables. Tariffs are working. That's exactly right. I'm going to show you another thing here. When I get back, there's a great article from the Fed who against they think they're showing the negative effects on tariffs when they're actually showing the positive effects on tariffs. I'm going to show that to you when I get home in another video, because I'm a huge fan of tariffs. 100%. We need to protect our domestic industries, our domestic workers, because we need to protect the Americans, our countrymen, as opposed to globalists. All right, God bless. We'll see you.